All right, guys, so welcome back. This is going to be episode 1, where we're going to show you the wash and, what are we calling it? Wash and what? Welcome back, guys. You're here for episode 1, where we're going to wash and prep this Cadillac SUV. So we'll show you the process of cleaning the wheels, tires, door jambs, exterior, all of the exterior panels, as well as the engine bay. So we'll walk all the way around the car and just check out the condition of the vehicle. So we're gonna use a different wheel and tire cleaner on every single wheel. So we'll kind of show you the before and afters of those and walk you through it's the same process, but maybe we'll have different results. There's quite a bit of road grime on this side, so we'll do a strip wash for that to remove a lot of this black and brown stuff that's on the lower panels. A lot of times on these SUVs, you get a lot of stuff kind of caught up in the crevices of the door jambs, so we'll clean all of this stuff out as we're cleaning and degreasing. And then on this side, there's quite a bit of stuff caught in the door jam, so we'll be cleaning that out as well. And then this side's a little bit more unique than the other side, where it looks like the owner has a little bit of tar or something on here. So we're gonna use 3 different solvents to show you the results of what that would look like to remove those before we start the wash process. And then finally, just like to check out the engine bay, because I usually will clean, degrease, and then dress the engine bay as well. Now that you've seen the walkthrough, we'll go ahead and kick off the process. All right, so we're gonna show you a few of the Superior Products solvents that can be used for tar removal, adhesive removal, and things like that. So we're gonna use this body panel that's got the tar on it, and we'll see what the results like with each product. So we've got Super Sol that we're going to apply first. I'm gonna let that sit and see if that'll melt some of that off. We're gonna use Super Sol in this middle panel. And last but not least, we're gonna use Final Sol on this last panel. All right, once you get the panel coated, you just wanna let it sit there and dwell. And you'll start to notice, it'll start to melt off some of the stuff that's on here. So we'll let that set for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and wipe it off. Okay, so we got 3 separate towels. We're gonna go ahead and wipe this off now that it's sit on here and dwelled, and we'll see what the results look like. So I like to start at the top and work my way down because it gets a lot dirtier at the bottom. Just wanna move to a clean part of your towel as you move down, so you can see all that road grime is getting melted away. A little bit of residual stuff in there, which we can come back with a second pass. But comparing that to what it looked like before. So that's the first one. Let's do the next one. See what that looks like. Start at the top, work our way down.
Your options are, and you can eat it here, you can take it home, I don't care what you do with it. You've got Chipotle, Crazy Bull Rock, Jimmy John, or Subway.
You pick it.
Man, I mean, obviously one of the first 2 options.
So let's go ahead and do a rinse down just to get all the debris knocked off, and then we'll spray off the wheels and tires and get started on those first. All right, so here we go. right, so we've got our wheel bucket, all of our little accessories, and I've got a foam sprayer here that I have Muscle Magic in that I like to use for the tires. But we're also going to use a different wheel or tire cleaner on each wheel. So for this one, we're going to use the wire wheel cleaner. This is the acid, diluted 4:1. When you start doing dilutions, they typically recommend you kind of start at 4:1 and then adjust as needed from there. So, you know, if you need to be more aggressive, you can go to 3:1, 2:1, 1:1. With acid, this stuff's usually pretty strong, so you don't work with this in the sunlight for sure. And then film our wheel too. Then we go to work. All right, same process, different product. This time we're gonna use the Dark Fury. If you buy this at O'Reilly, the ready-to-use dilution's already 4:1. If you buy the gallon, you can dilute it, you know, up to 10:1. Some people have used. I typically like to use it at 4:1. That way you can use it on rims, tires, engine bay, door jambs, bugs. Pretty good multi-purpose. Just let that sit on there. See, the Muscle Magic's already eaten some of the browning off there, so all that brake dust that's stuck to the tires working in. So I like to give a first scrub down, release some of that stuff, and then apply a second coat. Puddle's showing obvious results. So next we're going to do the universal non-acid at 4:1. It's probably the least aggressive out of all of these, but we're just going to show you some of the results we can get with it. And we're using this at 4:1. But the universal can be used as an interior and an exterior cleaner because of its non-acid nature. So all these products can probably get the job done. Just some make it a little bit easier than others. Like if you use the acid, sometimes you don't even have to agitate. You can just spray it on.
Just melt off.
And let it soak in and then wash off. But you can already kind of tell compared to some of the others, the non-acid isn't taking off some of these super embedded spots in this area. So more agitation looks like it's needed. So if I was going to be nitpicky, I would clean this tire or this wheel even more. But to show you the difference between the products and their effectiveness, I'm going to spend the same amount of time on each tire. All right, last but not least is the Whitewall 1000. And we diluted this 1-to-1. So let's get our sprayer pumped. All right, so for this tire, we did the wire wheel cleaner at 4-to-1. Out of all of them, that's gonna be your most aggressive. I think when comparing, this is probably the cleanest as well, and requires a lot less agitation. So you see up in some of the grooves, if you were to look close, that a lot of these areas are really kind of cleaned out in comparison to some of the others that I'll show you. So this is Dark Fury 4-to-1. I think pretty similar results as the wire wheel cleaner. Especially considering it's really kind of a universal cleaner that you can use for bugs and door jams and wheels and tires, but I'm pretty happy with the results of that one as well. And our third was the universal non-acid wheel cleaner. You know, we didn't do maybe as much agitation, but when I compare it to the other two, you know, I see some spots in here that are still lingering that probably the wire wheel cleaner or even the Dark Fury would remove. So it definitely would require a little bit more agitation. And then last but not least was the Whitewall 1000. Pretty similar to the wire wheel cleaner in terms of like the aggressiveness at that dilution ratio. So that one looks pretty clean too, and all the crevices are all cleaned out. So this is the iron remover. This is the purple prep that I'm using as my iron remover. And I just wanted to kind of do a test spot to see how well it would work and if there's any kind of contaminants. And this is the kind of stuff that you're not gonna get out just with a hand wash. All right, so we're getting ready to kick off our wash process. What I like to do before I foam a car is to get the bug and tar remover on the front panel before the foam sits on top of it to help it dwell a little bit longer. So we're gonna use our Dark Fury again, which is what we used on our wheels and tires. And we're just gonna spray that down on the front. See our bugs here? That's gonna help soften a lot of that stuff that's stuck to the front of the vehicles. And don't forget your mirrors. So while we wait for the Dark Fury to dwell, we're gonna go ahead and mix up our foam cannon. So today we're gonna feature Wash and Shine, which is essentially dirt buster without the scent and colorants. And then we're gonna add some Road Warrior as well to help us do a strip wash. And depending on your pressure washer, depending on your foam cannon, there's a lot of different variables. If you don't like the consistency of your foam, you can always add more soap. So we'll test it out first to see if we need to add any more. Throw it on here. Let it dwell for a little bit. Now we're gonna go ahead and do the wash. So pro tip for you guys is I like to use several different microfibers. So I'll use one for the top and the body panels, and then I'll use one kind of dedicated to the bottom of the car so that you're not introducing any scratches. All right, so we've washed and rinsed. Now we're gonna do our decon using the Purple Prep as an iron remover. So I just have this straight from the gallon and just gonna spray it on the panel and let it release any of the things that are really embedded into the clear coat that we weren't able to remove from a hand wash. And everybody jokes that iron remover smells like farts. All right, so while we're letting that dwell, usually about 3 to 5 minutes, we're gonna make our way around the car and spray out our door jambs. So I have Dark Fury here, and we're just gonna spray into our door jambs. Get the underside of the door, the crevice here. Some people have luck with just spraying this in and spraying it out. This car hasn't been maintained as well, so we're probably gonna have to do a little bit of agitation. So we've got some grime in here that Dark Fury will help eat through and try and release. So I've got a mitt, I got a brush, and we're just gonna agitate those areas we just sprayed with Dark Fury. So just get in all those little spots that can't really get that well with a larger mitt. I like to use the small mitt for the bottom, down here, the bottom of the door. So we got everything out other than this one spot. So we're gonna have to come back and be a little bit more aggressive there. So just looking at our Purple Prep, which is our iron remover, we see, quite a bit of purple spots here and there. And this car's already been washed. And so there's obvious particles and contaminants that are stuck in the clear coat. And what I like to do whenever I'm done using my Purple Prep is just wipe it in. It helps to release all of that stuff that's been stuck in the clear coat. All right, so now we're just gonna go ahead and remove our iron remover. So we're just gonna do a full rinse. All right, next we're gonna do our engine bay. So you can see it's already pretty dusty, so we'll do a spray down to get all the dirt out. Then we're gonna use Muscle Magic at 1:1 as our degreaser. So coat your top panel, coat all your plastics. And I use my tire and wheel brush to just do a little bit of agitation. So next up in our prep process, we're going to clay, and we're gonna do somewhat of a speed technique where we're gonna foam the car down and use our clay towel instead of drying it and using a clay bar and a clay lubricant. So that helps speed up the process. So I'm gonna get the foam cannon, foam it down, and then we'll use our clay towel. All right, so we've got our clay towel. It's already been broken in, so we don't have to worry about introducing any scratches or marring. And while the soap's on there, I'm just gonna rub this across the panels. A clay bar, what it's really doing is any of that stuff that's stuck into your clear coat, if you run your fingers or your hand across your clear coat and you feel like almost sandpaper, that's contaminants that are stuck in your clear coat. And what a clay bar is doing is removing those so that when you rub your fingers across your vehicle, it's gonna be very, very smooth compared to before. So it's not one of those things that you can see all the time, but you can feel it, and it will help your wax or any kind of protection last longer because the wax is sticking and filling those pores of the clear coat than sticking to any of those pollutants and contaminants. And the nice thing about clay towels or sponges or any of that stuff is you can use it under glass too. It'll help remove some of the water spots you may have. We're gonna do one final rinse and then we'll spray out the door jambs and get it dried. So here we go. Everybody has their preference on whether they do interior or exterior first, and this is why I like to do exterior. Because a lot of times when you're spraying out your door jambs, you're gonna splatter on the inside anyway, so. Forgot one spot. It's all in the details.
We'll do that tomorrow.
All right, now we're all clean. We're gonna go ahead and dry. So I'm gonna use probably 2 towels, and we'll use our air dryer to get all the little crevices too. So let's go ahead and get everything wiped down. So regardless of whether or not you're a pro or a guy who's just washing your car in the driveway, you want to get yourself a nice drying towel or a couple. Don't use the bath towels. Scratch your car, it holds so much water, take forever to dry. All right, so drying is our final step of the wash and prep process. So today what we did was we cleaned out the engine bay. We addressed the road tar that was on the driver's side. We cleaned each wheel with a different wheel cleaner. So we had the wire wheel cleaner acid, we had Dark Fury, we had the non-universal acid wheel cleaner, and then the White Wall 1000. We also did a strip wash and used the Purple Prep as the iron remover. And then to final things off, we did a clay bar treatment to remove anything else that could be embedded in there. And then once we did all that process, final rinse down, door jambs, and dried her off. So she's ready for part 2, which will be protection and dressings. So we can talk through some of the protections you can get through Superior products, as well as some of the dressings you can use, whether you're using Coverall or Aqua Gloss. So stay tuned.